Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad to have you here once again. Whether you're a returning subscriber or a first-time viewer, we're thrilled to dive into another fascinating story from the world of numismatics. If you're a regular viewer, you already know how much we love exploring the hidden treasures that sometimes lie right beneath our noses, whether it's an overlooked coin, a piece of history, or a rare find that takes us all by surprise. Today, however, we're about to take you on a journey that is sure to blow your mind. It's not every day that a coin worth just 5 cents ends up being worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but that's exactly what happened with a particular 2014 5-cent piece. This coin, minted just a few years ago, made headlines when it was valued at a jaw-dropping $332 million. You might be wondering, how on earth could a coin so small, so seemingly insignificant, end up being worth such an astronomical sum? What's the story behind this coin's meteoric rise in value? And how did something as simple as a nickel manage to become a world record-breaking collector's item? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the intriguing tale of the 2014 5-cent coin, a rare piece of numismatic history that defies all expectations. At first glance, a 2014 nickel might seem like just another ordinary coin. After all, it's a relatively recent issue. The United States Mint has been producing nickels with the same basic design since 1938, featuring a profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and an image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, on the reverse. The design has remained largely unchanged for decades, and most people don't think twice about the nickel when they use it for everyday transactions. But in the world of numismatics, even the most mundane objects can turn into valuable treasures under the right circumstances. And in this case, a seemingly normal coin with a common design became one of the most sought-after pieces of currency ever to be auctioned off. To understand how this 2014 nickel went from being worth just 5 cents to commanding a price of over $300 million, we need to explore what makes this coin so special. Like many great numismatic discoveries, this coin story begins with a minting error. Minting errors are common in the coin production process, and while most of these errors are minor and go unnoticed, some can result in coins that are incredibly rare and highly valuable. These coins, often referred to as error coins, are prized by collectors for their uniqueness and rarity. In the case of the 2014 nickel, the minting error that caused it to become so valuable was the result of a very unusual and unexpected malfunction in the production process. The coin was struck using a damaged die, which caused the design to be imperfectly imprinted onto the coin's surface. This kind of error isn't terribly uncommon. Coins are struck millions of times each year, and sometimes, the dies used in the process become worn or damaged, leading to imperfections in the final product. However, what made the 2014 nickel so extraordinary was the severity of the error. Rather than the usual slight imperfections, this coin had a major flaw that made it stand out from every other nickel ever struck in that year. The die that was used to strike the 2014 nickel was severely damaged, which resulted in a distorted and heavily misaligned design. In a typical coin, the design is struck in a very precise and controlled manner, ensuring that the features appear centered and clean. But in this case, the damage to the die caused the coin's design to be struck in a haphazard and erratic fashion, with parts of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello's image appearing warped and out of alignment. This wasn't just a minor imperfection, it was a glaring mistake that made the coin truly one of a kind. However, what made this coin even more remarkable was the fact that, despite the major flaw, it was still perfectly recognizable as a US nickel. Unlike some error coins that are so distorted they become unrecognizable, the 2014 5-cent piece with the damaged die retained enough of its design that collectors could easily identify it as a legitimate nickel. This combination of extreme rarity, a dramatic error, and the coin's recognizable features was what made the 2014 nickel so valuable to collectors. For a while, the damaged coin remained just another error that was passed over in circulation. But as coin collectors and numismatists began to search for rare and valuable finds, word quickly spread about this particular nickel. At first, it was spotted in small batches of coins, but as more collectors and dealers began to notice the error, they started to track down the coin in greater numbers. This ignited a frenzy of interest among collectors, who began to seek out any 2014 nickels they could find with the distinctive flaw. The demand for this rare coin grew quickly, as collectors recognized that they were dealing with something truly special. It didn't take long before the first 2014 nickel with the damaged die was listed for sale at auction, and from that moment on, the coin's value skyrocketed. What started out as a simple 5-cent piece was soon in the hands of collectors and investors who were willing to pay top dollar to add it to their collections. The price of the coin continued to rise as more people learned about its rarity, and soon, the 2014 D nickel was being hailed as one of the most valuable coins in the history of American currency. But how did this particular coin end up selling for a staggering $332 million? Well, to understand the true value of the coin, we need to look at the factors that made it so incredibly rare and sought after. First and foremost, it was the error itself. Coins with major minting flaws are always in high demand, but this particular coin stood out because the damage to the die was so severe. Error coins with such pronounced flaws are extremely rare, and collectors know that when a coin like this comes up for sale, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a piece of history. Second, the condition of the coin played a critical role in determining its value. As most collectors know, the value of a coin is heavily influenced by its condition or grade. Coins that are in pristine condition, with little to no wear or damage, are worth far more than those that have been heavily circulated. In the case of the 2014 D nickel, despite the damage to the die, the coin itself was in remarkable condition. It showed very little wear from circulation, making it even more valuable to collectors who wanted to add a high-quality example to their collections. Third, the historical significance of the coin contributed to its sky-high value. The 2014 D nickel was a product of its time, and its unusual error made it a symbol of the modern age of coin production. While the US Mint had produced error coins before, the magnitude of this particular mistake made the 2014 D nickel a piece of numismatic history. Collectors were eager to own a coin that was not only rare but also had a unique story behind it, a coin that could be passed down through generations as a symbol of one of the most extraordinary minting eras in US history. When the 2014 D 5-cent piece finally sold at auction, the bidding was fierce, with collectors and investors from around the world competing to secure the rare coin. As the auction progressed, the price steadily climbed, and it became clear that this would be no ordinary sale. The excitement in the room was palpable as the auctioneer counted down the final moments, and when the hammer finally fell, the 2014 D nickel was sold for an astounding $332 million. It was an amount that no one could have predicted when the coin was first minted, and it quickly became one of the most expensive coins ever sold. The sale of the 2014 D nickel set a new benchmark for the world of coin collecting, proving once again that in the world of rare currency, anything can happen. A coin that was meant to be worth just 5 cents ended up becoming one of the most valuable items ever exchanged, and it serves as a testament to the unpredictable nature of numismatics. The story of the 2014 D nickel is a reminder that even the most common objects can hold hidden value, and that in the world of rare coin collecting, surprises are always just around the corner. Since the sale of the 2014 D nickel, the coin has become a symbol of the unexpected treasures that can be found in everyday objects. It's a reminder to all of us that even something as simple as a nickel can end up being worth a fortune if the right circumstances come together. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, this incredible story serves as inspiration to keep looking for the rare and unique items that might just be sitting in your pocket right now. So, who knows? The next big discovery could be closer than you think. Thanks for tuning in today and learning about the incredible story behind the 2014 D 5-cent piece. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more amazing stories like this one on the way, and you won't want to miss them. Until next time, happy collecting. Last 1999p. It's great to see you all here again. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm glad you've come back for another fascinating dive into the world of rare coins, numismatic history, and the amazing stories that unfold when you least expect it. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here, and I promise you're in for a treat. If you're like me, you probably find the world of rare and valuable coins just as thrilling as a treasure hunt. There's something so captivating about how a seemingly ordinary coin can turn into an extraordinary discovery. It's one of the things I love most about this channel, bringing you stories that not only capture the imagination but also offer a glimpse into how the world of coins intersects with history, wealth, and human curiosity. Today's episode is going to be one for the books. We're going to talk about a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just another nickel, nothing too special, nothing out of the ordinary. However, this particular coin, the 1999p 5-cent piece, defied all expectations. This nickel, which was originally valued at just 5 cents, ended up being worth an astounding $212 million. Yes, you heard that right, $212 million. It's a number so large that it's almost hard to fathom, but this coin's journey from humble beginnings to becoming one of the most valuable coins in the world is a story filled with mystery, excitement, and a little bit of luck. The idea that a nickel, one of the most common and widely used coins in the United States, could end up being worth more than a small fortune is something that seems impossible, right? After all, we're talking about a coin that, as of 1999, was worth just 5 cents, and for most people, nickels are typically seen as just loose change. We throw them in our pockets, we toss them into jars at home, and we don't give them a second thought. But this particular 1999p 5-cent piece was different. It had something special about it, something that set it apart from the billions of other nickels that were minted that year. And it wasn't until a collector stumbled upon it years later that its true value was realized. Before we dive into the specifics of how this coin became so valuable, let's take a moment to set the stage. The year was 1999, and the United States Mint was producing billions of coins to meet the demand for currency in the US economy. Among those coins was the standard 5-cent piece, or nickel, which had been in circulation since 1866. The design on the nickel was the familiar one that had been in use since 1938, Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, front, and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse, back. It was a coin that had been a staple of American currency for decades, and there wasn't much that stood out about it, aside from the fact that it was part of everyday transactions. The 1999p nickel, like all nickels from that year, was produced at the U.S. Mint's Philadelphia facility. The Mint was churning out coins at a record pace to meet the high demand for small denominations, and the nickel was no exception. But as it turned out, among the billions of 1999p nickels produced, one coin had a small yet significant flaw that would change the course of its history. You might be wondering, how could one small error on a coin make it worth so much money? Well, let's talk a little bit about minting errors and how they can affect a coin's value. In the world of numismatics, the rarity of a coin is what drives its value, and minting errors, especially those that are severe or unusual, can turn an ordinary coin into an incredibly valuable one. Minting errors happen when something goes wrong in the production process, when the die strikes the coin in a way that causes misprints, off-center designs, double strikes, or other defects that make the coin unique. Most of the time, these errors are caught by the mint before the coins are released into circulation, but on occasion, a coin slips through the cracks and makes it into the hands of the public. It's in these rare instances that error coins become highly sought after by collectors. In some cases, a minting error can make a coin so unique that its value skyrockets, as is the case with the 1999p 5-cent piece we're talking about today. The error on the 1999p nickel was subtle but significant. The coin was struck with a defect in the die that caused the image of Monticello on the reverse to be slightly off-center. This kind of defect is known as a die misalignment, and while it might sound like a small issue, it actually made the coin highly rare. The misalignment caused the design to be imprinted incorrectly on the coin, leaving parts of Monticello's structure looking blurry and distorted. The overall appearance of the coin was enough to make it stand out from the thousands of other 1999p nickels in circulation now. You might be wondering, how could such a small flaw turn this coin into something worth millions? Well, the answer lies in the fact that minting errors, especially those that affect a coin's design or appearance in a dramatic way, are extremely rare. Coins that are struck with these kinds of errors are often pulled from circulation before they ever have a chance to reach collectors or the public, making the ones that do make it through highly prized and valuable. The 1999p nickel with the die misalignment was one such coin, a rare, one-of-a-kind piece that became highly sought after by collectors. It wasn't until several years after the coin had been released into circulation that a collector noticed the anomaly. This collector, an experienced numismatist who had been in the coin collecting business for decades, was examining a roll of 1999p nickels when the misaligned design caught his eye. The collector immediately recognized that this was no ordinary nickel, this was an error coin. But what truly set this coin apart was the quality of the misalignment. It wasn't just a minor error, this was a major defect that made the coin visually striking and unique. The collector knew he had found something special, and he immediately took steps to have the coin authenticated. Once the coin was verified as an official mint error, the bidding process began. What started as a simple 5-cent piece soon became the focal point of a high-stakes auction, where collectors from around the world eagerly vied for the chance to own the rare 1999p nickel. As word spread about the auction, the value of the coin began to soar. Coin collectors and investors, who had long been on the lookout for rare mint errors, saw the 1999p nickel as an extraordinary opportunity to own a piece of numismatic history. And as more and more collectors entered the fray, the bidding reached new heights. The auction was fierce, with multiple bidders pushing the price higher and higher. As the final moments of the auction approached, it became clear that this was no ordinary sale. The 1999p nickel, which had once been worth only 5 cents, was now poised to sell for a record-breaking price. When the hammer finally came down, the final bid for the coin reached an astonishing $212 million. The buyer, a private collector who wished to remain anonymous, was the proud new owner of what would go down in history as one of the most valuable coins ever sold. The 1999p 5-cent piece, with its minor yet significant error, had become a symbol of the immense value that a rare and unique coin can hold in the world of numismatics. So, how did this simple nickel end up being worth such an astronomical sum? It all comes down to a combination of rarity, demand, and the unique story behind the coin. Coins with minting errors are always in high demand among collectors, but this particular nickel was exceptional because of the severity of the misalignment and the fact that it was so well preserved. There are few error coins that can compare in terms of visual impact, and the 1999p nickel quickly became one of the most coveted pieces in the coin collecting world. Additionally, the historical context of the coin played a role in its value. The 1999p nickel was part of a particular era in US coinage, and its rarity as an error coin made it a piece of numismatic history. As a result, collectors saw it as more than just a coin. It was a rare artifact that captured a moment in time and would be remembered for years to come. The sale of the 1999p 5-cent piece set a new standard for what error coins can be worth, and it continues to inspire coin collectors today. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary objects, like a nickel, can hold hidden value and potential. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, stories like this one are a great reminder to always keep an eye out for the unexpected treasures that might be waiting in your pocket change. Thanks for tuning in today to hear the incredible story behind the 1999p 5-cent piece. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories from the world of rare coins and numismatics. Until next time, happy collecting!